Welcome back to the James Ramen Reviews for yet another episode. In today's episode, I'm bringing you an anime review of Dragon Ball Daima. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, you're actually a bit late to this one, James. Why are you taking so long to watch the show? But the reason why, and I'll give you a bit of context, is anime lately. I've watched this one anime, Kaiju number 8, and I've just casually been watching Dragon Ball Daima the past month here in May. So I have been enjoying it, and I'll be giving you my review out of 10. And I'll kind of structure this video as a good, bad, kind of not ugly, but mixed aspects because it's not a perfect series at all. So there's all of that. And so, just so you know as well, I actually enjoy Dragon Ball. I've done a few videos. I did like the movie about the Dragon Ball Superhero film a few years ago. Did a whole video about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero was a disappointment for me. And so this was kind of interesting because I saw the trailer, and obviously, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. So it was like, oh, Akira Toriyama is dead now, and he's got this kind of the last thing he wrote was Dragon Ball Daima. So is it going to live up to the hype and things like that? And honestly, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I will just give you what the series is about. So what this series is actually about is you've got Goku, you've got all your characters. They are turned into kids because of this spell, that's produced by this guy called Goma. And so they go to this realm called the Demon World, and Daima actually means demon, so that's why it means all of that. And so it's trying to build up this sense of story and lore and mythology for the franchise. It's never been done before, and it acts as kind of like this prequel to previous Dragon Ball entries where you see Goku as a kid again, and it's kind of setting up like Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that. And it's actually meant to be like a standalone, spin off, precursor to Dragon Ball Super. So there's all of that. You've got about 20 episodes here, they all run for about 20 minutes. And so the first thing I'm going to say about the show is it really is a solid watch. It's really entertaining, but there are a few problems I have with it, and we'll get to that when I talk about, the bad and the mixed. But let's start off with the positives here. Let's start off with the good parts of the series. And let's just say off of the bat that the energy from the voice actor of Goku, the Japanese lady, she does it again. It's entertaining. She knows what she's trying to do here. She's trying to put a smile on your face. And while you're at that, right, while you're at it, right, the song choices here, the do 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 do, it gets you interested and excited for more because it's just fun. And then, obviously, I do appreciate that they introduced these new characters. So it's not like they're just using Vegeta and Goku again to fight each other. Like all of that is not really in this series, which I do appreciate. Like they're trying something new here, bringing in this character called Pansy, who kind of acts like a Goku girlfriend type of character. She's a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate that. But and then there's Gloria. Gloria is fun too, and so I really do appreciate that the series is trying out new characters. I do appreciate a lot of the action that takes place later on in the series, and so there's definitely all of that. So I've said what I think is actually really solid about the show is actually, you know, the voice actors are actually not too bad. I think Goku's my favourite one though. I like appreciation of the new characters and the new type of world and universe they set up. So let's get into the mixed or the bad aspect of the show. And probably the worst part of this series, right, is the pacing for me because I know Dragon Ball is known for this. They are known for taking these hikes on these other adventures, going off on a tangent because they know they can do so much with this world. They can spend time with more characters. But because you're trying to get yourself invested in this show and they don't really pick up the pace enough till later on, it's like, oh man, where is this going? Is this going to get any better? And it's just kind of these situations where the plot kind of dwindles and you've just got Goku going off on this adventure, or because they're kids, right? The limitations of what they can do is very, very limited. So to be honest with you, that the storyline sometimes isn't the most interesting, but I will say there is still a few more interesting aspects about the show. It's not going to be like a masterpiece or anything, obviously, because Akira Toriyama, he's done enough writing of the original shows that this one wasn't going to live up to that, but because it doesn't really need to live up to that, but I feel like it still had the issues that Dragon Ball tends to have with the pacing. So that's probably my biggest problem with the show as a whole. So the mixed aspects here, well, I will say though, is probably it just kind of leads into what I just said about the pacing. And so there's all of that. So I will say as well, if you want to talk about another good aspect about the show, is actually the action sequences in here. Because when we get into later on in the show, right, and they start to introduce the whole Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4, because yes, there is spoilers, watch the show if you haven't. So when they start introducing all of that stuff, that's where I feel like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for in a little Dragon Ball show here. Like a little bit of, Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4. I appreciate a lot of the build up and things of that nature, all of that. However, I forgot to mention that maybe, just maybe, the mixed aspect here is the animation skills here. Like the animation of the show, I mean, it's like, it's decent, but then it doesn't really go, there's not really like an interesting art style that's new and refreshing. It's kind of just this one template of art and throughout the entire series. So there's definitely that, but the animation kind of takes a tonal shift where later on in the series, when they start doing all these power ups, I feel like the animation starts to have a bit more style and a bit more colour to it, because you feel like you've got Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. So, love all of that. As for the villains in this show, they're okay. They're okay, I'll be honest. Like Goma's never going to top Frieza or, the other villains from Dragon Ball. He kind of just gets the job done. You know what he's kind of up to. You know it's a little villain in a little room trying to plan out something. And that's what a lot of the episodes are. It's like just like Goma just planning out things, taking his time to plan his plan, and all he does is he grabs his like special force team to take out these characters. But obviously the special force team messes up. There's even episodes where you've got like his special force team just eats like cookies and cream and sweets and all of that. That wasn't the greatest part of the show, because obviously there was all of that, and there's even an episode where Goku and his friends are just fighting this big hungry monster, and they're running around in a field, and then obviously you're gonna find eventually Goku's gonna win here. So there's a lot of predictable situations, and like I did say earlier, that because they are kids, they get away with everything in the show. So the stakes aren't always that high, I'll be honest. So that's what I'll say about Dragon Ball Daima. Enjoyable watch, entertaining, gets the job done. So, will I recommend this one for you? I probably will. I probably will give this an 8 out of 10. While I had pacing problems, and there is fun fan service to be had here with, Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4. I still enjoyed it, and I actually really do appreciate what they did with the last few episodes here, where they finally give you an actual cool battle with the power ups. And let's talk about the obvious thing in the room here about how they turn back into adults, because it was actually kind of a convenience in the plot. Like Gloria, was on the side of one of the villains, one of the lady villains in the show. Like, oh, we're gonna make you think like us. But then it turns out they've got the Dragon Balls, right? Because the Dragon Balls grant the wish. They all turn back into adults, right? It pays off well, and it's like, oh wow, you've got Vegeta as a big guy again, you've got Goku as a big guy again, and you can see why it leads into Dragon Ball Super, because in Dragon Ball Super they're all adults, they all look massive and everything. So I definitely appreciated that about Dragon Ball Daima. While it takes different things, it takes these different risks and all of that with the demon world, instead of just going to planet Namek or planet Kakarot, which is like planet Earth in Dragon Ball's universe. So I do appreciate all of that. So I've got a couple mixed aspects, a couple mixed things in here. I've got, a couple things I really did enjoy about the show. But even with all of that said, I would still give it an 8 out of 10, just because it's a Dragon Ball show that was doing what it had to do. It got the idea down perfectly and it knows what it was going for, but it still isn't going to be like a masterpiece. So that's my review of Dragon Ball Daima. This is more of a deep dive, kind of just going off the cuff, kind of just talking about random, like different aspects, just kind of like it's kind of like a video where I'm just talking about all the aspects in a natural format. So I'm just jumping from one to the next, one to the next, to explain things a lot better for you. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed this review, because this is something a little bit different for the channel, because we don't talk about nearly enough anime anymore. So that's my review of Dragon Ball Daima. Stay tuned for more reviews like this. And without further ado, Kamehame, bye.